What is going on, guys? I'm Iggy Fresh, and today I'm going to show you how to install different callouts and different plugins available for your Grand Theft Auto 5 LSPDFR mod. So first things first, you want to head out to lspdfr.com, hover over mods, and click on downloads. Once you're taken to this page, these are all the different mods available. The one that you really want to click on is the scripts and plugins. Once you click on this, you are presented with all the different callouts and all the different plugins available for LSPDFR currently. The main distinction between a callout and a plugin, and let me go back to my Grand Theft Auto 5 folder, double click on plugins. So the way I differentiate the two is the plugin is what helps the officer do the police work. So these are all the plugins that I'm using. I have the breathalyzer, I have the rage show my location, I have the spike strips, and I have the vehicle search. Those are the key functions that the officer is able to do. Obviously, you use the breathalyzer for DUI stops. You use the rage my location for to show the location of the officer, the local speed limit, and how fast you're going. The spike strips obviously are self-explanatory. You're able to deploy spike strips during police pursuits. And vehicle search, you're able to search the vehicle during a traffic stop. So these are all the different plugins that I'm using, and they're located in the plugins folder. The callouts are located in the LSPDFR folder within plugins, and essentially these are all the different callouts that I'm using that come through dispatch for all the different calls. Today I'm going to show you how to install these different types of mods. So let's head back to the website. I'm going to use, another point that I want to make is make sure once you click on scripts and plugins, I wouldn't sort by anything else. By default, it's sorted by recently updated, and you want to always update your game with the most updated mods. If you patch your LSPDFR with an outdated callout, chances are it's probably going to crash because it's not compatible with the Rage plugin hook, or it's not compatible with the latest LSPDFR. So you always want to make sure that you're downloading semi-recent stuff, right? And also keep an eye out on the rating. I always go 5 or 4 stars. I tend not to do anything below that. So today I will show you how to install one callout package and one plugin. So just for ease of use, I'm going to click on secondary callouts, officer needs assistance. It's been recently updated, actually 12 hours ago. And it has great reviews. So we're going to click on that. Next thing you want to do is download it. I'm not going to do it because I just downloaded it. So we're not going to do that. But once you download it, just save it to your desktop. That's fine. For the plugin, I'm going to show you how to do spike strips. So I'm just going to search for spike strips. It should come up, and there we go. Click on that, and same thing here. It has great reviews. I'm gonna download this mod. I've already done that. It's saved to my desktop. So these are the two I will show you today, and pretty much all of the plugins and all of the different callouts, they're installed the same way, but I do encourage you to read the readme that comes with them. So heading back to my desktop, let's open up our Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. and I'm going to move it off to the side here. We're going to open up spike strips first. So there we go. Double click there. Just read the README. I always do that, but the installation is very simple. It's just saying to update the Rage plugin hook, which you should always have the most updated version anyways, but it's basically specifying that it's not going to work with anything older than 0.29 version. But essentially you just drop the folder plugin inside of the main GTA 5 folder where GTA 5 executable file is located. From here you could do one of two things. You could either copy over the plugins folder and merge the files together, or you could individually move them over from one plugin folder to the plugin folder in your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. What I typically do is I double click on the plugins in my GTA 5 folder, so I go inside of it, and then on the spike strips, which is on the left hand side here, we're going to do the same thing, double click on the plugins folder, and essentially what you want to do is just copy over these two files. Now I'm not going to do that just because I already have done it, but that's all you really need to do, guys. Another thing is all of these mods, the plugins or callouts, they come with the INI file, which you're able to modify. So once you copy them over, all you need to do is just double click on the spike strips configuration file, and you're able to change the keys if you wanted to deploy spike strips. I have it set to K. You could change it to any of the other letter on the keyboard. That's fine. And basically the author provides us with a description of what each key is for. So this key is for deploying spike strips. Pretty self-explanatory. Key to change the size of the spike strips. And you could change it to any key on the keyboard that you want. So I just wanted to quickly show you guys that you don't need to get stuck with whatever keys the author provided with by default. One thing I forgot to mention is that you need to make sure LSPDFR loads all of these plugins. You don't need to do this next step I'm about to talk about with the callouts, but it has to be done with the plugins. So after you move over the spike strips over to your Grand Theft Auto 5/plugins folder, go back to your Grand Theft Auto 5 directory and scroll down until you find a file called startup. Double click on this file. If it's going to ask you to select an application to open this file, just use the notepad. That's what I have here. And by default, I believe you will see this here. It'll say load plugin, and then quotation marks, it'll say LSPDFR first response.dll. For any of the plugins that you add to the plugins folder, you have to make sure that you load them as well. So for this example, we're only doing spike strips, so that's the only line that you would want to load. You would simply type load plugin quotation mark spike strips 5.dll and close the quotation mark, and then just save it. Now I don't need to do it because I've done it, and I've done it for all 5 of my plugins that I'm using. So if we go back to double check to the plugins folder, you will see that all 5 of my plugins are listed here to make sure that they load when the game loads. And that's the key thing here. Another key thing is you want to make sure that the that DLL file, that's the one that you want to load, and that it matches in spelling one for one. The spelling cannot deviate from the way you load the plugins in the notepad here. That is very crucial here. So I'm not going to save it just because I was only using it to demonstrate it for you guys. Alright, so after you do that, that's it. Close out of here and you are good to go. When you load the game, the plugin should auto-load and you should be able to start using it as soon as you go on duty. Alright, so the next thing is we downloaded the secondary callouts. We're going to double click on that. Go into that folder. Now, same thing here, just always read the readme. But essentially all of the callouts are being installed the same exact way. So the screenshots folder, that's the author just provides different screenshots during gameplay. You don't need to move those over. So we're going to go back, go into Grand Theft Auto 5 folder, and this is what typically you should see. One LSPDFR folder, one plugins folder, and sometimes this comes with a Rage native UI, that DLL file. Essentially, what the author would want you to do is copy all these folders and move them over into your Grand Theft Auto 5 main directory. So what you want to do is, again, I don't typically just drag everything over just because I don't want my older files to be overwritten because I may have other plugins, right? So I have different plugins other than what's included here. So what I do is I grab the Rage native UI file and just drag and drop it to your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. That's step 1. Step 2, double click on plugins and double click on plugins in your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. Double click on LSPDFR in your downloaded folder and double click on LSPDFR in your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. And what you want to do is just grab these two files and just drop them into your LSPDFR folder. That's part 1. Now the only other folder that's left, if we go back, is the LSPDFR folder. And same thing here, just go back to your Grand Theft Auto 5 main directory. Now in the downloaded folder, double click on LSPDFR and double click on Police Scanner. And do the same exact thing in your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. Double click on LSPDFR, double click on Police Scanner. Now I have a lot more here, a lot more folders than you will, just because I have a lot of callouts installed. But essentially what you want to do is you want to grab this folder, this secondary callouts audio, and you want to drag and drop it to the Police Scanner folder. Alright, so and that's pretty much how you install callouts. Now if we go back to the Grand Theft Auto 5 folder, do not load these callouts in your startup.dll file. These are only meant for plugins. That's the key thing here. The callouts load by themselves once LSPDFR loads and once you go on duty. So I just want to do a quick recap of what I talked about during this tutorial. Basically, for all the plugins, they go into the plugins folder, and then you have to load them through the startup.dll file, which is found in your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder. That's number 1. For all the callouts, you would want to go into plugins, LSPDFR, and that's where they go. Usually it's .dll and .ini files. They drop in here, and all the audio files go back to your Grand Theft Auto 5 main folder. Double click on LSPDFR, double click on Police Scanner, and that's where all the audio files go that come with your callouts. And essentially this is it. I encourage you to read all the readmes that come with these files that you download for installation instructions, but I just wanted to show you guys how this is done and how I do it. I hope this tutorial helped some of you guys. I'm going to list all of my plugins and callouts that I'm using in the description below. And as always, if you guys have any questions, please shoot me a comment below. I will try to help you as much as I can. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.